Republicans don't give a shit about abortion. I know that seems like an insane thing to say, but it's true. Republicans and religious conservatives don't actually want to stop abortion. If you really wanted to stop abortion, like really wanted to get the number of abortions down to zero or as close to zero as possible, then you would do some research to find out what stops abortion. And study after study has shown that criminalizing abortion doesn't actually stop abortion, or even decrease the number of abortions. And yet, that's the only thing that Republicans and the religious right ever try to do. Like when you're playing Street Fighter and you only know the Hadouken, so you just do that over and over again. There are things that decrease the number of abortions: sex education, access to birth control, family planning, paid maternity leave, free childcare, and other social services. And not only are Republicans and religious conservatives not trying to do those things, they're actively fighting against them. Taking that into consideration, it seems like what they actually want to do is not decrease the number of abortions, but increase the number of accidental pregnancies and force poor people to keep those children. Because the rich have always been able to get abortions, and that's never changed. Why would Republicans and the religious right want to increase unplanned pregnancy and force women to keep those babies? I have some theories. We could hypothesize the religious motivation. True believer religious conservatives maybe want a return to the traditional family structure because Jesus. And the more people that are forced to have children, the more traditional families will be created under duress. So maybe that's it. I don't know. The church didn't actually give a shit about abortion until the 1970s. Until then, they believed that life began at first breath. So maybe that change happened because they wanted to team up with the right for political influence. I don't know. Either way, they can fuck right off. But why then would Republicans pretend to care about abortion? Their only real motivation is to accumulate power and money. So why would they care about accidental pregnancies? Two reasons. One is simple. Being anti-abortion means that religious conservatives will vote for you no matter what. So that's an easy pathway to governmental power. Two is a little more complicated. Having a child when you're not ready is a massive strain on your time, money, and energy. And men and women under that kind of pressure, they have to throw their life plans away. They have to take any job or jobs that they can get their hands on, regardless of how demeaning or low pay or dangerous. And they completely forget about doing anything that could make their life better because they don't have time. They don't have time to learn new skills or go to college or form a union or vote or protest. Their whole lives now are just desperately trying to survive while at the same time making a ton of money for the rich bosses, who are also usually Republicans. Isn't that a weird coincidence? So when that happens, when poor people are forced into these desperate survival situations because they're being forced to have children that they're not ready for, then the rich and powerful Republicans will no longer have to worry that those desperate people will have the time or energy to take their power and money away. The most dangerous thing to the rich and powerful is a strong middle class that has the time to realize how much they're being fucked. Is there some old school misogyny thrown in there as well? Wanting to control women and their bodies to feel powerful? Probably. I assume that Republicans and religious conservatives always sprinkle a little racism and misogyny into everything that they do. Like Salt Bae, they always finish every dish with a little salty flakes of racism and misogyny. And here's one of the key differences between Democrats and Republicans. Because something that's very important to Democrats is gun violence. But no Democrat is trying to make guns illegal. We're trying to do things that actually decrease gun violence, like gun registration and licensing, mandatory gun safety training, universal background checks, funding mental health care initiatives. So if you're pro-life, and I mean like really pro-life, like pro-gun control, anti-death penalty, and actually wanting to decrease the number of abortions, you should vote Democrat, because Republicans don't really give a shit.